welcome to episode 39, season 2 of Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas about your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. Today we're going to be doing some mock drafting. We're going to mourn the first 2 games of this Dallas 4-game series, and then then we're going to go watch AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, who's with us? Woo! AEW! AEW! AEW!
All right, and of course, before we do all that,
gotta do the business.
Business to attend to.
Let's get into it. This weekend's UFC 261 is sure to be a can't miss event. Oh, okay. Every punch, kick, knockout, dry hump, everything means so much more with a DraftKings lineup on the line. DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of UFC, is giving you a shot at huge cash prizes for this weekend's fight. DraftKings offering all players a shot at $1 million.
Mike, did you say
not $1 million? You get a shot at millions of dollars. Ooh, I like that. In total prizes, if you haven't tried it yet, fantasy, also known as MMA, is easy to play. Just pick 6 fighters. Well, they can't fight each other. You probably want to pick, guys who are going to be in different matches so you can win. So pick 6 fighters, stay under the salary cap, no going over, you rascals. This is like the NHL. We got a hard cap, and pile up points for advances, takedowns, and more. There's no better way to put your knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes.
Plus, don't forget about basketball and hockey, where DraftKings has even more money to grab for grabs throughout the week. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code THPN to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes throughout the week. That's promo code THPN to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Woo! That's right.
All right, now it's over. Matt, what is going on in the world of hockey? Because it ain't the Red Wings. Current events, Matt. If we were doing a current events report, I would have mailed it in and got an F because it's really hard to watch right now.
Yeah, we're okay. So we stand at 0-1-1, right? Against the Stars. I actually said this series could go one of 2 ways. Where I guess this is so dumb. I feel like an ESPN person right now, and I'm just going to list out like 2 obvious things. They're going to be close, or Dallas was going to pull all the stops to make sure they get all the points against a bad team. And so far, kind of looks that way. And Mike, for all of the reasons that we love Jonathan Bernier's play, and then from an analytical perspective, we look at his expected goals and how many saves he's had above what that expected goals is. And just not the same in the last game against Dallas. It was supposed to give up 1.13, gave up 4. That's 5-on-5 play there. And the funny thing is, Mike, we actually won the 5-on-5 battle in expected goals. So this is this is it, right? This is, you win the expected goals battle. You get trounced. We're pretty far in regards of talent competing, getting us over the hump. I don't know.
Who's the Stars head coach? Is it Rick Bowness?
The more it
kind of sounds like bonus, get that bonus play. Man, he's got to be in the locker room just snapping a bunch of pencils in half because of how much we dominated 5-on-5 play. In your face! Yeah, you might have got 2 points, but you know what? We dominated 5-on-5. How's that feel, Rick Bowness? Yeah! Lashel is high-fiving guys and slapping chests. Matt, if we've learned anything from Darren McCarty, it's to just be positive for the next 7 years. Because there's not a lot don't worry about the wins and losses right now. Just try and take something positive out of it. Matt, you are our connoisseur de rougeois, as we say here in Detroit. Matt, what was your favorite positive? Outside of the whole team collectively having as much fun as possible against Dallas. Yeah. Matt, what was your positive against this?
I guess it's our one guy that I think everybody.
I want to hear that name, man. Who's that big sexy? Who do you got out there?
Everybody keeps saying that nobody is untouchable on this roster, but after last night, Larkin getting in a tussle puts in. I mean, it's a pretty good looking goal. That's our boy. Like that's our untouched. That's Mr. Untouchable. If he ever moves, we will shut down the podcast. I promise you all. The next day, there won't even be this is what happened. There won't be a tweet. The Twitter account will disappear. Larkin's gone. And not to say that this is one of the, like, we love Dylan Larkin so much that we would shut it down. I'm just saying there's absolutely zero chance of that happening. That's where I stand on that. Give me all those hot takes that anybody can be moved on this team, but I guarantee it will not be Dylan Larkin.
Take a hell of an offer, Matt.
I just it has nothing to do with that game either. I'm just saying.
You know what?
I introduced him as my untouchable on this roster. So
I will never do that again. Never, Matt.
Never ask me a question.
No, that's a whole other story. Lafreniere and the next 3 years of first-round picks for Larkin.
Oh, yeah.
See, he's touchable. I knew it all along, Matt.
Yeah, send that on over.
All right, I'll let the Rangers know. I'll let the Rangers know Larkin's on the table.
All right, we'll wrap up this conversation, and we'll move on to some more fun. We'll get into those mock drafts, but we've got 2 games remaining. Mike, this was one of the series I circled. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so cool to play 4 games against one team. 4 straight games. It hurts. It's not fun. And I hope that the rest of the league had fun when they had their series like this, because I'm having zero fun. Mike, Dallas is in the playoff hunt. Like they need to win these games. We don't know if it's going to be points percentage for sure. But if it is, they've got that. They're up on Nashville right now, so they have Detroit on the schedule. Are they really going to let it go? You look so confused right now.
I'm very confused.
Yeah,
because I know Matt had the 4 games circled. You know who else had these 4 games circled? Matt. Once again, Mr. Rick Bowness. Man, he could not wait to try and topple that Red Wing juggernaut.
Can you tie a bow on that?
You guys, some people get overtime, some people get commission, but when you're in Dallas, you get the bonus. Wow! Yeah, that's right. Let's go to the playoffs. We're about to play the Red Wings, baby.
Instead of normal, and then all would have. Okay. But yeah, I think this is why I went ahead and I did some mock drafts, because this is just getting rough to watch.
It's okay.
We're so close to the end. So
Man, how many more friends of the show have to tell us to wait 6 years? When are we going to learn?
Yeah,
Man,
that
if
is
it's
true.
Greg Wyshynski, if it's Ken Kal, if it's Enforcer and Hall of Famer and local legend Darren McCarty, Matt, all of them are telling us, you know what, just watch some wrestling.
Ryan Lambert said 12 years. So
holy God!
If we averaged them all out,
man, one of your kids is almost going to be in high school by that time. Oh my
well,
God!
I think so. Ken, said 2 or 3 years. Ken Kal, he's our boy Ken. He said 2 or 3 years, so that brings the average back. That'll cancel out Ryan Lambert's 12 years.
I think Darren actually had it at 6.
Yeah. 6 total. So we're entering Steve's 3rd year this week. So 4 from now.
That is a hotly debated point. It was made to be as if it was 6 years from now. Yeah, get him on the horn, Darren. Matt, did Ken Kal mean 3 years from now?
I think he may have. So he's probably looking at, when he said 2 to 3 years, he was looking at the 5-year total for us to be back in the playoff, like sniffing the playoffs again. Not just this joke of like, oh my God, can we compete every other game? Like actually every game matters. When we lose, we're going to be pissing ourselves with anger, like that kind of thing.
I don't remember that feeling, man. It's been a long time.
I don't know why I want that. I've made the argument for so long on the Hockey Podcast Network that we have the easiest show. We'd never have to sign on and be absolutely furious, really, with anything. Like, I know there's some of our rival podcasts get pretty mad about the lineups for this team that, I mean, we all sit here and go, nobody's untouchable. Like every podcast, every pundit, everybody says nobody on this team's untouchable. But then when your favorite player gets knocked out of the lineup or doesn't make it to the last 2 minutes of overtime, it's like, oh, was such an easy decision. This is a no-brainer. We would have won. And it's like, no, we're gonna lose most games. Just clean your poo pants and let's move on.
I've been playing on the Nintendo Switch a little bit of Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and I think most teams will go like, all right, we got Doctor Strange, we got Iron Man, we got the Hulk, we got Captain America, and the Red Wings are like, we're gonna give Iceman a shot from the X-Men. What? Oh man, he hasn't been relevant since the '60s, man. What are you doing with Iceman? And we'll just throw him out there. We'll throw out the Wasp. We don't care. From Ant-Man and the Wasp. I had to clarify because you made a face like, is that an X-Man? Who's that?
No, I got Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah. I guess, yeah. So essentially, you just want to make that all-star team no. See, that's the problem because you're assuming that just because you haven't earned Captain America yet. That's where we're at in Ultimate Alliance. We haven't earned Iron Man, Captain America, Wolverine. You're stuck with this is who you have to choose from, Mike. You have
Nebula.
Moon Knight.
Oh, Moon Knight.
Punisher.
Oh man, who's who? I love this.
Shut up. Moon Knight.
Howard the Duck.
I like the Watcher. Yeah, Howard the Duck.
2 different skins for Howard the Duck.
The evil Captain America from the TV show. What? God, I've watched so many videos. All right, we got to get back to hockey, but I've watched so many videos of his origin story that there's like 6 different origin stories, and they're pretty wild. Okay, Mike.
Yeah. Matt, fun fact: I heard that he's going to be leading like the Suicide Squad version for Marvel.
Oh yeah, that's one of his comic storylines that I was learning about this week. Let me see if I can pull this up properly.
Is that a future for Franz Nielsen? Will he lead a hockey Suicide Squad at some point?
Like from the perspective that whoever, like if the Kraken decide that they're going to take a shot on the on the veteran. That'll be the end. Like that'll be the decision. If anybody has had a chance, I highly recommend. I'm going to call him friend of the show, even though he never responds to me because he was on once. He must have had such a great time. He's like, I don't want to mess with that chemistry we had. But Prashant Iyer just put out on Winging It in Motown a fantastic take on like what's going on with the expansion draft. And he did say the 2 guys that'll be up for the Kraken based on his assessment. Like he played the game. What would I do if I was Steve Yzerman? Ended up being Svechnikov and Franz Nielsen. So pretty easy decision there for the Kraken. But I do highly recommend that because Mike Prashant was the first person to explain the expansion draft, which I hope to get into in the next couple of weeks here. And then we'll give our hot takes, but I don't know. It was a pretty good take. So we're gonna work hard to do better.
No, I'm sorry I took us on a sidetrack. All right. But these are tough times for the Red Wings, so sometimes you need a little distraction. But Matt, I gotta say, trade season's over. We can start thinking about the draft. And Matt, is it gonna get any sexier than a team with 2 first-round picks? Woo!
I don't know. I pulled up my mock draft and we lost all of our viewers but one. So we'll
gorgeous. Love it.
Apparently I did a great job.
Go back to Marvel.
That's probably what happened. The views are always on a delay. All right, no more Marvel. Mike, go find that again. Go find that Prashant article on the expansion draft. My final thought was gonna be that was the first time I read somebody explain it, and it made sense. So I highly recommend that if you still don't understand it. Steve, who also said himself in his last press conference that he doesn't understand it. So I'd say
we should
Steve,
add him on Twitter. Yeah, and send the article his way.
All right. So, Mike, I think the fun way to do this is we'll take a peek at my picks and all the picks, because I think what people want to see is who I didn't pick as well. But all in all, this is going to be kind of similar last year, Mike, to any pick you're making in this top 10, like the way that a guy like Scott Wheeler has his stuff stacked, Bob McKenzie and Pronman and elite prospects. I mean, everybody has a different number 1. Everybody has a different top 10. So you're going to find something that is going to be pretty hard to argue that you messed up. I think that's where maybe our job to dissect this draft, maybe it gets easier. Also, a lot less fun because you don't get to look at any of these picks and go, God, what a dumb pick. You're pretty much just you're gonna have your pick of future mediocre hockey players is kind of the gist here.
Oh,
So yeah, it's not a hot draft by any means. I think Scott Wheeler said it the best, where he said it's the first 10 picks are the low side of what a high end first round pick would be. So
ouch.
But that right, exactly. So you're looking at Alexei Lafreniere last year would have been at the high end is basically how somebody would have measured.
So there's no Tim Stützle in this draft?
Correct. Yeah, there's actually as we get into this, and we're going to talk about Owen Power. I thought one of the funniest things I saw came from Bob McKenzie, and I just want you to remember that thought you just had because we're going to bring it back to Victor Hedman. And part of that goes into why I thought Owen Power would fit. But yeah, let's take a look first at all picks. If you guys want to take a look. Now, I just went to Elite Prospects, so it is Matthew Beniers. That was him saying it. So if anybody wants to chat or chirp right now and say it's beignet, like the taste of New Orleans treat, which would have been. I wish that's how he pronounced his name. It's not. This is how he pronounces it, is Beniers. Just heard him say it. All right. Number 2, Brant Clark. Number 3, Luke Hughes, Mike, that you were just taking a peek at.
That's
and
right.
Number 4, Simon Edmondson. So what's funny is these. I did do my own little mock draft without really doing too much research, and I actually took Beniers at number 5. So this is if anybody's familiar with doing your mock drafts, it's FC Hockey is probably where everybody heads to first to play this fun little game. This is me taking Owen Power based on what's left. So I passed on William Eklund, who's Mike. He's number 1 in Elite Prospects. He's who they're saying is the number 1 guy in this draft. Jesper Wallstedt is the number 1 goalie. Mike, for a guy like Scott Wheeler, who we had on the show a little while back, he is also on our side where you never take a goalie in the top 10. And I would say Prashant Dyer's another guy in that boat. But Scott Wheeler said Wallstedt, it's tough to not put him in the top 10. So, Mike, for all the times that I've been making the argument not to take a goaltender in the top 10, one of our trusted boys, Scott Wheeler, said probably not going to miss. So is this what the Red Wings are going to do? I chose not to. So I'm still shy. I still say goaltenders are such a huge roller coaster that you're still better off finding something else in this. But I mean, if Wallstedt really is the real deal, you gotta think: is this because everybody said the talent level is a little bit lower, and that's how he's a for sure top 10, according to Scott Wheeler, or is it just playing the same game as we always do? Everybody always overvalues a goaltender in the draft, and then it doesn't seem to pan out. All right. Also passed on Kent Johnson, another Michigan boy, and Dylan Gunther, who, if again going back to Prashant Dyer's takes, that's who he took at number 5, and one of my favorite names to pronounce, Atu Ratu, number 10, going to Vancouver. He used to be projected to be the number 1 guy going in this draft, and he had quite the fart sandwich of a year. So he fell a little bit. Mike, there has been talk of him even dropping to the Red Wings' 2nd pick in the first round.
Oh, wow.
Just to kind of I gave that quick little recap here. So now I took Owen Power at number 5. I figure Mike will do a lot of these, and this will give us an opportunity to kind of get to know everybody a little bit more. For anybody like we know there are people watching that know Owen Power like the back of their hand. Watching, listening, but there's also the folks that have no idea, go head first into the Red Wings game, first period to third period, and then boom, they're done when the game's over. So that's kind of what our job's going to be. Is let's take a look at Owen.
Can you go back to all picks real quick?
Yep.
So I was going to ask you, Matt. Obviously, depending on if you're asking which one of our friends of the show you're talking to, how far away we are from being remotely relevant in terms of hockey championships, right? It's a little early. It's a little early to draft for need. But Matt, is this defenseman, if we were number 5, do you feel like that is the best use of a top 5 pick? Is he a 6'5" defenseman? Or would you be leaning more towards a center because it kind of feels like some of our center prospects are turning into wings, and we need somebody to be in the middle.
Well, there's two. This is where that argument comes back to whoever you take here. I think you're going to be kind of in the same boat in regards to filling out your championship lineup. I mean, by all accounts, even the top guys you're looking at. Again, not me saying this. Certainly, they all have a potential to get into the top, your top line. But a lot of the scuttlebutt has been middle 6. Same thing on defense. You're not looking at a top pairing guy. You're looking at bottom 4, which they're NHL players. You got to fill out your roster at some point. This draft is just, by all accounts, is weak. That's not to say there aren't going to be guys that are going to be, all-stars coming out of this draft. There certainly will be, but judging by the prospects' takes, that's where we're at. So, Mike, I know what you're saying. Should we pick up a center? And absolutely, in some of the other ones I've played, I've gone with William Eklund. In fact, in the last one I did, he was taken first, and in my head I was like, I definitely want William Eklund, because you're picking up another guy that's picking up another Swede. There's too many relations there, going back to everything going on with Soderblom and of course Lucas Raymond. But then there's you just stay in Michigan, and like I mentioned before, Matthew Beniers, and just hang out at U of M and pick up their center, because you're still going to be doing pretty good.
Yeah, there's quite a few Michigan boys for you wing nuts out there. Why would you be here if you weren't? But man, does that make you nervous at all that they're all kind of riding on maybe just playing against some Big Ten, maybe not the most. Maybe not the most talented conference, but it's a little odd to see all these guys ranked so high, right?
And I totally agree with that, and I do I think there's a lot of that coming into play. And
unless we've suddenly become like Alabama in football, now Michigan hockey is the Alabama of football or something like that.
Well, it's one of those things where we would have liked to have seen this team perform a little bit better, and it just wasn't. So where do you go from there? But yeah, coming back to who I actually picked here, Owen Power. I will say there's some caution there, but once I crack this sucker open, I think that'll follow me. It did not. Okay, well, what I wanted to show everybody, and it'll just take a second here, but we're looking at a 6'6" defenseman who, by style, it was what Bob McKenzie put as comparable to Victor Hedman. Now, this is where it gets fun. I thought this was the best take in regards, I think, to Owen Power. He does, and this is again from Bob McKenzie, he does look and play like Victor Hedman. But if you were comparing Owen Power to Hedman at the same age in this draft year, Hedman would be better in pretty much every facet of the game. Okay, so there is that. But I do think there's an element of trying to match what Steve, even though he already had a Victor Hedman, he was already dealt that card when he headed over to Tampa. I think there's still an element of finding some familiarity with how you built that Tampa Bay Lightning juggernaut and trying to redo that. And I think this is definitely within the realm of an easy argument. Go with Owen Power. Go with the Giant.
This might be a draft where maybe Steve tries to trade down. Is there anyone besides us with 2 first-round picks this year, Matt?
Oh man, I'd have to go into Cap Friendly to check that out. That's definitely let's research that before we get started kind of question. I'm sure there is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up for us. I got it.
All right. So if that's the case, yeah, then I'll just keep moving right along here. This is good podcasting. Oh no, I lost my link. There it is. All right, back to my picks. All right, so also finished off the first round. And this is where the point of contention would be with using FC hockey. Are we actually going to end up with the 29th pick? I think a lot of folks would argue that it's going to be better than this. But that's where making this pick is just kind of fun and silly, because this guy, Oscar Olsson, who I picked, oh my gosh, this thing just is not going to work. There we go. Is by all accounts ranked so much higher than 29th. So I felt it was pretty fair for me to still play this game, since we don't know where the Washington Capitals pick is going to land. And Olsson was projected, again, by all accounts, to be way higher in the draft. Then I thought it was pretty fair. He's so we go to Elite Prospects. We'll check him out. He's number 18 on their consolidated draft ranking. So that is essentially them taking a look at FC hockey, which we're going through now, McKean's hockey, Central Scouting, their own rankings, Craig Button in there, and of course Bob McKenzie, as we mentioned. So all of that is taken into consideration to build out this consolidated ranking. Number one in the consolidated ranking is still Owen Power, who we mentioned again with Bob McKenzie's ranking. And that would mean, Mike, at 29 or maybe earlier, we'd have a shot at Olsson. Now, what's funny too is you go around and read everybody's rankings for the upcoming draft, and nobody has really pinned down if he's a right wing or a left wing, which he's just listed on Elite Prospects as both. I thought it was kind of funny. It might not be too funny, but I didn't get anything out of you. All right, so let's read what Rodman had to say. Was impressive versus both juniors and pros this season. Has a lot of NHL elements to his game. He's NHL caliber. Speed, skill, good size. You can easily envision him generating clean zone entries with control versus pros. Inside the offensive zone, more of a shooter than a passer. I would say, Mike, with everybody on the team looking to pass first, it looks like, from the Red Wings, that might be a good change of pace. Zadina is at least starting to shoot a little bit more. I think we can be happy with that. Anyway, he can make good plays, do so with some pace, but his main offensive threat is his shot and ability to finish from range. Olsson works fine off the puck. He'll get to the net, get back defensively, but he's not overly physical, which, honestly, I'm fine with that. I think that doesn't do anything to take him off my draft board or anything like that. So, yeah, I'd say so far this worked out pretty good. If I go back to the whole shebang here, I want to take a look at the rest of the draft, because I think at this point we're at 28 minutes, and Mike, I don't know if you were able to.
Yeah, so we have three. Yeah, we have three options actually. It's kind of stunning this year how many teams gave up on the first round. 4 teams have multiple first rounders this year, Matt. Us with 2, obviously. New Jersey and Minnesota have 2 each, and then Columbus, thank God, with 3 first round picks, Matt. 3, 4, 5, 6, 3. Man, that's roughly a third of the draft is 4 teams.
Columbus, New Jersey, and who?
Minnesota.
Okay, so Minnesota is probably the one that I would say is that's like our best possibility of grabbing, if you want to trade back and grab a couple. Maybe Columbus, but I don't think they're going to be looking at number 5, and I think they're also playing the let's get as many guys game.
It was
how they treated the trade deadline. They're just trying to collect first round picks. For all we know, they're going to trade to the next year and pick up some restricted free agents, which I think is also an option for the Wingdings. Take that first round pick from Washington, grab something for next year, and then you're better off if you do end up making a huge stab for a restricted free agent, which a lot of people are on board for Elias Pettersson to be that big stem by Steve Yzerman. So that would be one way to fix that. Just go ahead, get another first round pick for next year, so you're not losing out on another year where you absolutely will need a first round pick, because we know even Elias Pettersson coming over isn't going to turn this team into a contender. But I think I'm a guy that would hesitate to lose 4 first round picks and pay a guy over $10 million. This is all just for one player.
Live a little, Matt.
But if you got me another first-round pick next year by trading away one of these picks, I'd feel better about it. How's that? If you gave me, like, if we traded with somebody who needs a first-round pick, and then we got two of theirs moving forward, that would definitely be the, I think, coolest way to go.
That would
like
definitely
if we went
be
2022
NHL 2K21, I think.
Well, let's do, if you do first round pick this year, you take the 5th pick this year, Mike, and you can trade it for a 2022, and let's just skip a year to make it easier for the video game to say, get a 2022 first round pick and a 2024 first round pick. And then you're only missing out then on the 2023 first round and 2025. Jesus. Is anybody taking notes?
All right.
Then you sign Elias Pettersson to whatever deal, whatever monster deal you want to give him. Put him out of Vancouver's price range. Now you have Elias Pettersson. You've got your first round picks in 22 and 24. And you've got a super duper star. A guy who ranks at the top of the league in regards to playing two ways and scoring a bunch.
Wow.
Like you've got Pavel Datsyuk.
My mind is blown right now, Matt.
How do you like that?
We would have to turn off the NHL trade logic, I think. But we could maybe make it work. So, I mean, we went over, we'll call it instead of mock draft, Matt drafts. And we got a defenseman and we got a wing. And Matt, the more I look at this and the more you keep selling me on, there's a bunch of like, B plus guys. Maybe it's a draft where Iceman wants to keep striking. Maybe he wants to be the guy instead of trading back. Maybe he wants to gobble up and just say, you know what, we're going to ice a team with 8 first-rounders this year. Okay, I'm being hyperbolic. I'm going over the top. But is this something that, because we know he likes giving second chances to, the Island of Misfit Toys? Give us a glimpse into Yzerman's brain, man.
I guess I'm confused as to what you're saying. Are you saying Yzerman's
that he might acquire even more picks
this year?
That he might acquire even more this year.
I mean, I think he's going to acquire more picks this year. I don't know if the fight shouldn't be to get more first round picks. I think unless you're taking your own first round pick and getting multiple, I think that's definitely doable to see if one of these guys will hit. Get multiple picks in the top 32 and see what you can make out of it. That's the way to do it. I don't think we're going, we have a 5, we have a 29, according to FC. So let's get a couple more in the middle. I don't know if that's it. I think it's fine if we're going to play around with the Minnesota Wild, and then we could tell the Wild that, hey, you guys can have Owen Power, add to your defensive corps. Maybe he'll be ready in a couple years, and then we'll take both of your first rounders. Throw them over here. Like that's more along the lines where I'd say we're increasing the amount of first round picks we have. But I don't think Minnesota's going to do that. I think if we did that, we're collecting a first rounder from Minnesota and maybe like a second and a third. I don't know if they're going to play the game of 2 first rounders for 1 first rounder. That's where, you take a look at, we're going to trade 1 first round pick this year for 1 in 2022 and 1 in 2024 so that we can pick up Elias Pettersson.
Man, this is blowing my mind. It's too wide open. There's too many possibilities.
And AEW Dynamite's starting.
I know. Man, we didn't even play Who's That Pokemon?
All right, throw it at me. I didn't even get to my 3rd pick in the draft. I didn't even get to the 2nd round. We got through 1 round.
We almost got through one round.
There's too many questions. We were supposed to go through my mock draft.
Well, I had so many questions for you, Matt. Okay, Matt. Who's that Pokemon? Who's ready?
Let's shoot it.
Matt, as always, it's read by a friend of the show, Paul Woods, and today's no exception. So here we go. Matt, you're going to try and guess who Paul Woods is reading about. Here we go. Well, offensive players care about scoring, Jeff Blashill said. Exciting note, Matt. Jeff Blashill is not the answer. Offensive players care about scoring, Blashill said. It matters to them all, matters to their confidence. But that's not how I judge blank at all. End quote.
All right. Offensive is important, but who cares about offense? Okay. So let's say
So essentially,
no, it could be somebody
Blashill
who
has a
is good at
car.
offense.
Blashill has a car whose purpose is to get you from point A to point B, and he doesn't judge that car on its ability to drive.
Okay, so we're talking about Luke Glendening.
Hey, wait a minute. Was that a rib? I was trying to throw you off the trail there, man. Is that your final answer?
Shoot. Yeah, let's go with Glendening.
Matt, it was not Luke Glendening. He is safe from this one. Man, it was Mr. Delon Larkeen.
Okay.
Second time he's talked about in this episode. But
that makes sense. Yeah, I got what you're saying now.
Yeah, so he could have taken it down the route of, it's not a big deal if you don't score, buddy. But instead, he was saying, you do everything on our team. So, you know how it is.
I get it now.
Dylan's alone.
All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We are at BOD Hockey on Twitter for our shenanigans, and at brothers_of_discussion on Instagram. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hope going through 2 players of our mock draft was somewhat fun. All right. Thanks, everybody. Toodaloo.
Drafted Michigan, boy!